vote recount wraps up in 4 of the 9 counties involved. We look at the results.
We're live in Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power Tour. We're going to have a couple of fantastic interviews and tell you about the latest in your forecast, including warmer temperatures and rain chances coming up.
And we learn about the history of Dalton Defender Days and the impact this annual celebration has on the Coffeyville community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
4 of the 9 counties ordered to hand recount the ballots in Kansas abortion ballot initiative are finished with minimal changes to the overall vote. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes following the vote. On August 2nd, Kansas voters rejected the value them both amendment by a gap of more than 165,000 votes. If it had passed, the amendment would have allowed the state legislature to restrict or ban abortion. Now, Crawford County was the only county in southeast Kansas that matched the state vote. On Tuesday, Crawford, along with 8 other counties, were ordered to recount by hand. County officials say Crawford County overall remained a no-vote county, but hasn't provided specific numbers. Lyon County had 1 vote switch from no to yes. Thomas County added 2 additional yes votes that were not recorded because the voter wrote a check mark rather than bubbling in the circles on his ballot. And Jefferson County had 4 fewer yes votes and 4 fewer no votes. Johnson, Sedgwick, Douglas, and Shawnee counties have until Saturday to finish. We have a developing story in Lamar, Missouri. Police are investigating the death of a 36-year-old woman. Authorities responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m. That's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital where she died. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow in Springfield. With the recent rain, Cherokee County is temporarily lifting the countywide burn ban. It'll be lifted for the rest of this week. Officials say they will reassess next week if it should be put back in place. Well, this week, our More Power to You tour is taking us to Coffeyville, Kansas, and we sent our very own Chris Warner there. He joins us now live.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, we're here in the historic downtown plaza in Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power Tour. And we've got a couple of great interviews in this show for you. We begin right now with Linda Follett. She's the curator of the Brown Mansion. Mansion, not Mancha, but Mansion. Linda, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So tell me a little bit about the Brown Mansion. What's some of the important history behind that place?
Well, the Brown Mansion was built, it took 8 years to build. They moved in 1906. Mr. William Brown built it for his family. It is a 20,000 square foot beautiful home with still all of the original woodwork, furniture. When we purchased this from their daughter, Violet, the Coffeyville Historical Society bought it in 1973. Violet left everything in it. Wow. So from furniture to china to silver, her personal belongings, it's all still there.
I mean, that's pretty incredible to be able to have this place, and not just to have it, but to have all of its original contents intact.
Yes.
And I understand that you also offer tours of the Brown Mansion. What do people need to know about that?
We offer tours, guided tours of the mansion, Tuesday through Saturday at 1 o'clock and again at 3 o'clock. Except this Saturday, August 20th, we are closed because we're having a large event. So it's closed to the public that day. But it's usually Tuesday through Saturday, 1 o'clock and again at 3 o'clock.
And where are you all located?
Our address is 2019 South Walnut. You can just Google Brown Mansion and it'll take you right there.
Perfect. And for people that are interested in taking a tour, where can they go for that information? Who do they need to call?
Well, they can go to our Facebook page, Brown Mansion's website. They could call the mansion, 620-251-0431.
All right, perfect. Linda, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And, of course, we'll have this information on our website as well. And talking about the weather, so it's still a little bit on the partly cloudy side out here, as you can see. But it's not too bad. Temperatures haven't warmed up too much across the area. The Skywatch storm tracker is showing not really much. Now, if we zoom all the way out, you can see that most of the rain that we had from before is off to our south. And that's a good thing for right now, especially since we're going to be out here live. As we progress through the day, again, temperatures right now not bad. So 79 Independence, 81 in Oswego, 82 in Joplin. We're on track for highs in the mid to upper 80s. And we may have an isolated storm or two later this evening. That's going to be mostly on the Missouri side. And you can see humidity levels, dew point levels low enough that there's not really any heat index. And if there is one, it's only about a degree or two that's out there. So not bad at all. As we go through the rest of the evening, we'll have these clear skies. Again, maybe an isolated storm or two on the Missouri side. Be 84, 78 by 6, 72 by 10, and 69 by midnight. And check this out. Remember how cool we started this morning? We're going to start that cool again tomorrow morning with lows in the lower 60s and even some mid-60s on the board. Now, of course, if you're doing anything, if you're visiting us in Coffeyville or anything you're doing, make sure you download the KOAM Skywatch weather app. It is available free of charge, and you can just scan that QR code on your screen, or you can go to your favorite app store and search for KOAM Skywatch weather, and make sure you download it because it's like having the entire Skywatch weather team in the palm of your hand, so you can keep up on the latest forecast wherever you go. We've got another fantastic interview down here in Coffeyville, and we've got more on the rest of the week, which is only like a day, plus your weekend forecast coming up.
All right. It sounds like a really cool place, that Brown Mansion. Looking forward to your next interview as well. I guess you're checking in with Tim Key with the Dalton Defenders.
That is right. We'll be visiting with Tim Key with the Dalton Defenders. As a matter of fact, their building is just right off to my right here in downtown Coffeyville. So we'll have more on that. There's a lot of cool things to do down here. And then, of course, our More Power Tour, which if you come here, I forgot to mention, you can enter to win a Roku for your TV, or you can enter to win Chiefs tickets. You might as well enter to win both, right?
You might as well. All right. You stay cool, Chris.
If you're here, do it.
All right. Well, the Coffeyville Fire Department receives a charitable donation for $9,400. Magellan Medstreams partners with the fire department to purchase a new thermal imaging camera with a laser finder. This piece of equipment will be used to help search for possible victims inside a building during a fire. It'll also be used to find remnants of the fire during the salvage and overhaul stage. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon. Stickers shock at the store. Families looking for school supplies are feeling the inflation pinch. And later, we're making cold fudge cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, as kids head back to school, families looking for supplies are feeling the inflation pinch. The National Retail Federation says families with students in K through 12 can expect to spend an average of $864 on school supplies this year. That's $168 more than in 2019. A Carthage organization is helping to relieve a little of that financial burden. On Wednesday, Bright Futures hosted an event at the Bridge Church to hand out nearly 1,000 backpacks filled with school supplies. Organizers say they want every kid to start off school on the right foot.
Oh, this is why I do what I do. I've got the greatest job in the world. I've worked for the greatest school district in the world. I live in the greatest community in the world, getting to do the greatest things in the world, taking care of kids and making sure kids have bright futures.
Educators who pay for out-of-pocket school supplies will now be able to get a bit more back on their taxes. The IRS announced teachers can deduct up to $300 worth of classroom necessities. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Some of the best recipes are often ones we grew up with. You know, the ones that instantly take us back to our childhood. Today, we're sharing one that our test kitchen director, Patty, grew up with and loves.
And we're live in Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power Tour. We're going to have more on that, plus an interview with Tim Key with the Dalton Defenders Museum when we come back. We are live here in historic downtown Coffeyville at the Coffeyville Plaza. And we are joined by Tim Key with the Dalton Defenders Museum. So last week there were ducks that I was talking to, and there are no ducks to talk to here, but if you go into one of these museums, voices from the past may be talking to you. Tell me a little bit about the Dalton Defenders Museum.
Well, they whispered to me. I've been attracted to the Dalton gang lore ever since I moved to Coffeyville at the age of 14 in 1969. I saw my first Dalton reenactment right here on this plaza. In fact, I was with a friend of mine, and his dad was playing Grat Dalton, and it made a huge impact on me. So over the years, every couple of years, I'd get into this crazy Dalton gang research mode. And now I'm retired, I decided to make a little use of my time, and I was wondering what I wanted to do, and I decided to become a volunteer at the museum. It's been a lot of fun.
And tell me a little bit about the museum. If somebody goes in there, what are they going to find? What can they learn?
Well, not only can they learn a lot about the Dalton gang, but they can learn about Coffeyville's rich history. And that's one of the greatest things about Coffeyville is its history. Walter Big Train Johnson, famous baseball player, Hall of Famer, he's lived in Coffeyville. Wendell Willkie, who ran for president against Franklin Roosevelt, was a history teacher in Coffeyville. In fact, he was the history teacher before my history teacher, according to her. And a lot of other famous people that came from Coffeyville. You can learn about local industry that used to be here. The icy was invented in Coffeyville. So Coffeyville has a rich history that we're very proud of. And when you're in the museum, you really feel like you're touching upon that history. It's a great experience, not only to tour the museum, which I recommend everyone doing, but to volunteer is a great satisfaction, because if you love being in a room full of antiques and memorable items from the past.
Perfect. And so if somebody does want to come up here and be in this room and hear those voices and be part of this, what do they need to know? When do you open? What do they need to do?
We're open Monday through Sunday, 10 till 4, Monday through Saturday, and I believe it's till 1 o'clock on Sunday. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. And of course, we'll have information that you need to know on our website as well associated with this. And of course, we're here for our More Power Tour. As you remember, we were going through a major project where we upgraded the power on our tower. And now folks in Coffeyville are getting a better signal than they ever got before thanks to that. And that's why we wanted to come out here and just say, hey, thanks for sticking with us. So let's take a look at our forecast, though, and how things stand right now. Now, on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, there's nothing really to look at locally, at least not right now. That may change later. A wider view, you can see some shower activity down in eastern Oklahoma, but nothing for us to worry about whatsoever. Taking a look at 7th and Range Line, it looks really nice right now, actually. Partly cloudy skies, and temperatures really aren't so bad either. It's 82 in Joplin, and it only feels like 83, so that's not bad either, considering we're in the middle of August right now. Temperatures across the region not looking bad either, as you can see. And we're sitting in mostly the 80s to mid-80s, lower 80s to mid-80s. And again, heat index values not a problem whatsoever for us, just because it's still so pleasant. Now tomorrow, things are going to start to warm up. We'll get into the lower to mid-60s tonight for overnight lows. And then as we head into the next 24 hours, as you can see, temperatures cool off, and we're going to be hitting into the lower 90s as we head into Friday afternoon. And on the future track, it'd show us a lot of our shower activity. We're going to take a much more in-depth look at the forecast. We'll talk about tomorrow and the weekend, which I know everybody's looking forward to finding out about here a little bit later in the show. Reporting live here in Coffeyville. Make sure you come and see us, because we're here now, and we'll be back at 5 and 6 tonight.
Okay, we'll check back in with you one more time in the show. Thank you so much, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Marvin Stone, in the U.S. Navy. The Pittsburgh, Kansas native helped build bombs in battle while in Vietnam. Stone served for more than 2 decades. To Marvin Stone, we thank you, our four-state hero. Howard gives us a trip down memory lane with a dessert recipe so sweet you'll want to make it your own family tradition. We're making cold fudge cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Some of the best recipes are often ones we grew up with. You know, the ones that instantly take us back to our childhood. Well, today, we're sharing a recipe that our test kitchen director, Patty, grew up with. And you won't believe how easy it is. We start by combining some melted butter, flour, and lots of finely chopped walnuts, and we press that firmly into a baking dish before popping it in the oven. This will be our crust. While it bakes, we make a filling by beating together some cream cheese and powdered sugar. Now, get this. We fold in some whipped topping. That's going to make the filling nice and light. Once the crust cools, we'll spread the cream cheese mixture over it. The easiest way to do that is with an offset spatula or with the back of a soup spoon. On top of that goes a layer of chocolate pudding and more whipped topping. Then we sprinkle on some chopped walnuts. Talk about decadent. Once it's chilled, it's ready to dig into. And if it's Patty's all-time favorite go-to dessert, you know it's a good one. To get the recipe for our once top secret cold fudge cake, check out our website. Before you know it, you'll be enjoying the cool creaminess with every forkful. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found the decadent layer after layer way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
I know some people who would really like that recipe. And you can find it along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
We are live here in Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power Tour. Make sure you stop by. We're in the historic downtown Coffeyville at the plaza. When you stop by, you can register to win a Roku, register to win Chiefs tickets, and of course check us out here at our More Power project. Quick look at the 7-day forecast. You can see where things are not going to be too bad. We're going to warm up into the lower 90s tomorrow and into the near mid 90s by Saturday. And then rain chances build in, and they're going to be scattered, but they'll last through the weekend, bringing temperatures down to 83 on Sunday, and then we warm back up into the lower 90s by midweek. So again, make sure you come and see us here at 5 and 6 tonight in the Coffeyville Plaza in historic downtown Coffeyville, Kansas.
Sounds like a pretty neat community.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there.
Cool
Doug
stuff.
Heddy's going to be out there
Yeah, you're
at
going to be
5.
out there tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
What
What else? What do we all have coming up tonight?
Well, of course, our More Power tour does continue in Coffeyville, and we're going to hear from the local Chamber of Commerce. Also learn about an initiative to restore the historic Midland Theater. Plus, new numbers shed light on what some are calling America's youth mental health crisis. We check in with Joplin schools to see how counselors are handling the growing number of children with mental health issues. And new research finds people with COVID-19 have a higher risk of developing some neurological and psychiatric conditions up to 2 years after infection. We're going to look at the study results in Health Watch. Hope you join us for those stories, a whole lot more as we continue our More Power Tour live from Coffeyville, Kansas at 5.
All right, exciting. You better get on the road soon.
I will be, probably in another hour, couple hours. Yeah.
You got some time. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.